Well, all right, guys, I think it's time to turn the big shredded money bowl. So let's get started. This is the biggest bowl blank I've ever attempted to turn, so I'm excited to jump into this. Now, if you didn't see the live stream where we made this, I'll have a link on the screen if you want to watch that back, but it's a bowl blank made with shredded British pounds, and I got the shredded money from Mark Lewin over in England. He hooked me up with a bunch of bags of it when I was over there for Maker Central, and decided I wanted to make a bowl out of it. I thought that'd be kind of cool. So big thank you to Mark for hooking me up with the shredded British pounds, and make sure to follow him on Instagram. He does really good work. He makes some really cool blanks and does some cool resin casting stuff. So at TQ Blanks over on Instagram, make sure to give him a follow and say hi from me. But the other thing about this is we used something different. Usually I use Alumilite Clear Slow Set for large, castings, and it's formulated to handle giant pores. So I'm sure it would have worked for this, but this is made with epoxy, and it's Stone Coat Countertops Supercast. The guys over there sent me a bunch of their epoxy products to kind of test out. They do resin river tables and different types of stuff like that. They wanted to kind of see how does it work for turning, how does it cast and how does it turn. So they sent me, pretty much all their products. I've tested a bunch of them. So far, everything works pretty well. And the big question was, how thick of a casting can you make? How big a blank? Will it overheat? So what I used was the Supercast. They have a bunch of different types of epoxies, but the Supercast is formulated for larger pores. And so far, there's no visible indication that it overheated or there was any problems. Now, we'll have to kind of see once we get in here, start turning it away, if there's any surprises hidden in the middle. But I think it worked pretty good. I didn't see any problems so far. So I'm pretty excited about that. Before we begin, I also wanted to mention we're doing a giveaway for some pen blanks with this video. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to put some shredded British pound currency in some pen blanks, and we'll do a giveaway. So there's going to be 2 winners. Each winner will receive 3 pen blanks. Each one has a slightly different shredded currency denomination in it. Got to be honest, I have no clue which denomination is in which one or which color it is, but I thought it'd be kind of fun. So if you're interested in getting into the giveaway, what you'll do is leave a comment, and you're going to need to put a code word in your comment. So the code word will be announced at the end of the video. I'm going to make you guys wait till the end to find out the code word. But, whoever wants to enter, wherever you are, it's going to be open internationally as long as it's, legal in wherever you reside. You'll be able to enter. And so I'll probably let it go for like 4 or 5 days, and then I'll just randomly pick a couple winners and let you guys know in next week's video. And while I have you here, I'd also like to ask a little favor. If you can share this video with friends, family, or post it on your Facebook or on Reddit, or wherever people that you think might be interested in this video are hanging out, definitely do so. It helps a lot. It gets my channel in front of new faces and helps the channel grow. So I really appreciate all the support, guys, and I'll see you at the end for that code word. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to sand this up and just get it a little bit more flat. Probably just use a random orbit sander, and then get a glue block on here so that we can get it mounted on the lathe and clean up the face of this thing. It's pretty gnarly. And it's super sharp too, so I'm trying to be careful not cut myself. But once we have the face flattened up, I'm going to get a worm screw and the chuck, and then we'll start, kind of going through the motions, getting a tenon on the bottom of this thing and get the back of the bowl shaped up, flip it, and then start coring it out. So I guess let's head over and get the sanding done and get a glue block on this guy. All right, I got my glue block. It's already got the tenon. Everything's ready to rock, and I'm going to leave it on the chuck. That'll add some weight when we glue it down. But the other thing that I did was I marked a ring so that we can make sure that we get this thing as centered as possible when we're gluing it on. So let's get some 5-minute epoxy out and glue this sucker on.
Next morning.
Well, all right, we got it all flattened up on the face. It was a little bit rough, chattery at first because it was all kind of bumpy and crusty, but it took a little while, but we got it nice and flat. And honestly, I was flattening this originally so that I could put a worm screw in here and flip it and then work on the back first and then flip it back. But looking at this setup, there's really no reason to do that. The glue block's 2 inches thick, so it's setting the bowl out. I can totally get the tool in. I have access to the side. I can totally finish the shaping on the outside and then just come in and hollow this out. So super simple setup. Say that 10 times fast. But then at the end, I'll just part it off and we'll just have basically a flat bottom. I'm not going to mess around putting a foot or anything like that on it. It'll just kind of be, you know, flattened out and done. So that'll be nice and easy. You might notice there's a little piece of wood here, and that was kind of unexpected, I guess, let's say. There was a block of wood that I put in the bottom, but I hot glued it down in the mold and it must not have stuck. So it kind of, you know, like tilted up. So this is actually going to be kind of interesting to see what happens with this. I'm guessing there's going to be some wood in here at the end. We'll have to kind of see how it looks. I'm curious now. Unexpected, but hopefully it'll turn out pretty cool. So let's get the tailstock up here, and I'm going to start working on the side. It's a little bit kind of out of balance or out of round, but we'll start shaping that, and then we'll take the tailstock away, start working on the inside of the bowl, and it'll be done. So I can't wait to get on this. Let's start making some more shavings. All right, guys, it is looking pretty awesome. It's all turned up. You might notice there's no wood in this. And I ended up it didn't look good at all. I didn't like the way it was kind of just a ring around the edge and just didn't look good. So I just kept taking passes. And this thing's pretty thin. I mean, it's thinner than I usually would go on something like this. So at this point, I think I'm done with tools. I don't even really want to put tools on this. It kind of scares me. I don't want it to blow up, basically, at this point. So the next stage is lots of sanding. We got lots of sanding to do. And again, because we have so many tool marks, I'm going to have to kind of start pretty low and just kind of work my way through it. But I think at this point, I'm extremely happy with everything about this. So I'll endure a little bit of sanding to get through this. The bottom is a little bit, you can't really see much in here, but it's basically just kind of a pool of clear resin. And I think once we polish this up, get it all smooth, I think the money, because there is shredded money in the bottom, it's going to really pop out and kind of be visible. So there's some really cool stuff going on with this that I think is going to be even better, basically, once we get a finish on it. So let's get to sanding. I'm going to speed that up for you guys so you don't have to endure sitting and watching sanding. And then we'll do the finish. And then turning this off is probably going to be kind of scary also, but We'll get through it. Don't worry. All right, guys, just wanted to stop real quick and give a shout out to my newest top level patrons. So big shout out to Ann McDonley and Travis Holt. And I have one other shout out. This person's actually been a top level patron for a while, and he just upped his pledge. So time for another shout out. So big thank you to Dave Sloan for upping the pledge. He's like above and beyond top level now. So if you'd like to help support the show, you can do so over on patreon.com/nvwoodworks. I appreciate all my patrons. Thank you guys for all the support, keeping the lights on around here. Now back to the video. Well, all right, I got it all finished up, and I'm pretty excited. This thing turned out pretty good. This was, like I said at the beginning, the biggest bowl that I've turned so far. You know, pretty big. Not huge, you know, there's definitely other people are making larger resin cast type blanks and stuff, but this is the biggest one I've turned, and I gotta be honest, it wasn't any more difficult or anything. It wasn't much more challenging, I guess, than you know, like the smaller 6-inch bowls that I've turned before. So you know, if you get a chance, take a shot on it. You know, just take your time, you know, cut the material away, and it should go pretty smoothly. Now, for the resin, I use Supercast from Stone Coat Countertops, Epoxy. They're Supercast, and it didn't appear that there was any problems with overheating. Now, one thing I do want to mention is I put a pretty big block of wood in the center of that, so it did probably take, you know, a little bit of that mass away that was all just one big blob of resin. It probably interrupted it a little bit and absorbed some of the heat. So, you know, maybe this wasn't the greatest test considering there was a piece of wood in there, but I have a feeling that this stuff would probably work pretty well for pretty large castings if you want to try it out. Now, a couple other little notes. The finish that I used, I kind of glossed over that because I was kind of trying some new things out and doing some different stuff. And what ended up happening was on the front side, I used something that I haven't tried before for finishing a piece. But I have been using it to cover, you know, like pen blanks and like the short runs and stuff like that, and it's been working fairly well. It's a polyurethane, and I gotta be honest, for finishing something like this, I don't like it. It does have a little bit of a yellow, you know, tint to it. It goes on really, really thick. It wasn't the greatest product. So I actually switched gears and just went with lacquer, and I was much happier with the spray lacquer on the back. There's lots of different ways you could finish this. You know, I decided that I wanted to just use a top coat because I don't really think that just buffing this out would have looked as good. You would have had kind of a weird texture to it. It would have been a little bit more dull. So I like the gloss. I didn't love that polyurethane stuff, and I'm not going to be using that on future projects. But overall, it turned out pretty good. There's a couple of little minor flaws here and there, but overall, the finish turned out pretty darn good, and I'm pretty happy with the bowl. I like the shape. And it was a fun project. So big thank you to Stone Coat for sending out some products for me to test out and play with. I'll be getting in contact with Mike over there to kind of talk about what my you know, overall reactions to everything was with it. For kind of the short answer for you guys watching this video though, you know, it wasn't any different than any other epoxy that's out there, you know. I think for me personally, I don't like slow setting resins. I wouldn't choose that to be, you know, what I use first. I would much rather go with a fast setting resin like Alumilite Clear Slow Set. It just works well, and the other thing is I'm very used to it. I know exactly what to expect and how to work with it. So, you know, that's going to be my first choice most likely, but it's a viable option. It's no different, better, worse, I don't think, than anything else on the market. And, you know, the Supercast stuff, you can pour fairly large, I think, and not really have to worry about overheating. So it's an option out there. I'll have a link down in the show notes where you can get Stone Coat Countertops of Epoxy. It's over on their website. And I'm also going to link up here on the screen to their channel because their channel is phenomenal. If you want to do, you know, resin river tables or just, you know, covering stuff, resin art, they have a tutorial to show you like every type of thing that you ever wanted to make on their channel. It's really good information. So definitely, you know, even if you don't use their resin, I think you should check out their channel, subscribe, and see the cool stuff that they're doing. Now, you've all waited patiently for the code word for the giveaway for the pen blank. So if you forgot what's going on at the beginning, this is kind of a longer video, but 2 sets of 3 pen blanks, so 2 winners. What you need to do to get entered is enter the code word money blanks down in the comments section below. So leave a comment and put the word money blanks somewhere in there. That'll let me know that you're interested in getting into the giveaway. And what I'm going to do is choose a couple people. We'll probably let, you know, comments roll in for about 4 or 5 days. I will go through and randomly pick a couple people, and then I'm going to let you guys know who the winners are in next week's video. It'll probably just kind of be a shop update video. I got some stickers to put up and some other random little, you know, whatever things to do in the video. So that's what you can expect for next week's video. So good luck to everybody in the giveaway. I hope you guys are excited about getting some money blanks. I know that they're pretty fun to turn. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention is Nick Zametti just made a shredded money bowl as well. And it just kind of happened that we were both working on or thinking of the same kind of project, but he got his up first. So if you haven't seen that video yet, make sure you go and check out how he did it and how it turned out. It's a good video. All of his videos are good, but make sure to go check that one out. I'll have a link on the screen and down in the show notes here. Now, last but not least, we got a big announcement. I finally got merch. We got Dunkin' Junk shirts, and there's lots of other stuff. We got mugs and I think socks and all kinds of different stuff. And I thought, you know, finally got my Teespring store set up, and it's super integrated into YouTube. There's a little kind of highlighted listings thing under each one of my videos now. You might have noticed it already. But this is one of the shirts right here that I'm wearing. They're pretty nice shirts. The logo turned out great. All kinds of different colors of t-shirt that, you know, fun, bright colors and stuff like that you can choose from. And we're going to be, you know, coming out with new, you know, designs basically that are kind of focused on, you know, resin casting or things to do with the show, kind of like inside jokes and stuff. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I think the web address is like teespring.com/nvwoodwork, so you can kind of go and see what all we got over there. But I'm pretty excited. I finally got my act together, got our artwork up and started making these things. So for everybody that wants some Dunkin' Junk merch, it's available now. Head over to my Teespring store. Well, all right, guys, I had a blast making this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this is your first time on my channel, we do all kinds of resin casting projects, tips and tricks, and experiments, and turning projects as well, like this one. So if you're interested in that, definitely hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you get notified when new videos get posted. And if you're thinking about getting into resin casting, but you're not really sure where to begin, a little timid to take that initial plunge, check out my ebook, The Beginner's Guide to Resin Casting. It answers all those beginner questions like, you know, what do I need to get started? What types of resins are there? How does it all work? It'll kind of help you get over that initial learning curve so you can get in the shop and start making some cool projects of your own. It's available on my website if you're interested. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching this video and happy casting.